and only Move Swiftly speaker checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork you will not get anywhere else. We do not teach you how to rise to the occasion here, folks. What do we teach? We teach you how to fall to your level of preparation. Oh, firstly, yes, absolutely gorgeous sunrise. But not only is it a gorgeous sunrise, we are at our final Make Your Move Monday. Make Your Move Monday kickoff question of 2025. Again, what we do around here, just to update you if you're new around here, Mimi, just remind you to like, comment, subscribe, share this out to anybody that needs it, anybody that needs that daily motivational boost, particularly folks who are suffering with the lack of employee development, because that's what we preach, that's what we do. So we do around here 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year. All right. So we have something called a Make Your Move Monday kickoff question that we bring up every single question, and it introduces the theme. Not only that, but the final Monday, it's the final Monday of every month. What I do, again, this is what I'm telling you, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because the final Monday of every month, what we do is started this around May time. And I particularly go over the monthly goals that I had last month, and I see how I did. I give myself a letter grade. Publicly hold myself accountable, because I can't be out here talking about this stuff if I'm not publicly holding myself accountable to make sure I'm doing the work as well. So I'm going to go over all my monthly goals, how I did, give myself a letter grade, and then go over the monthly goals that I have for next month. And it's that extra boost because we are going to be in a brand new year and all that. So again, make sure, I'll do a deeper dive on this, maybe about an hour or so from this very recording, and we'll break everything down. It's not about lengthy, it'll be kind of sort of a lengthy process today because there's a lot we got to get to, all right? So all that being said, let's get into today's Make Your Move Monday kickoff question. And I'm really excited to share this one, because I'm excited to share every day, but really excited to share this one because the majority of people, the majority of thought leaders that you are going to hear out there, whether it is trainers or public speakers, motivational speakers, whatever it is you want to call, the public speaker, the person that you go to for your motivation, most of them are going to just be talking about all the brand new changes that you're going to be making this year, everything that's going to be new. What are you going to change? How are you going to lose a bunch of weight? How are you going to make more money this year? How are you going to, they're going to be talking about all the things that you want to change. What we're going to do here on this channel is talking about what you're not going to change, all right? What you're not going to change. And probably the best example I can give of that is if you can recall, excuse me, can recall. Now, just so we're clear, I am a Miami Heat fan. I'm a Miami Heat. That's the team I cheer for when it comes to the NBA. There's little of NBA I watch these days. There's all the flopping that going on, but that's another conversation for another day. But as far as the team that I like to see do well is the Miami Heat. I've been a Miami Heat fan, even though I was born and raised in Maryland. I've been a Miami fan since '06, and I saw D-Wade do his thing and get that championship, right? So it was the first year of the big three, when, everyone wanted to call LeBron a choke artist, the Frozen one and all that kind of stuff. That first year when they made it all the way to the NBA Finals and lost to Dallas in game 5. They lost to Dallas in game 6. Yeah, they won 2. Yeah, they won 2. So they lost to Dallas in 6, right? And if you can recall, Pat Riley did a press conference the next day, and they asked him, hey, what are you going to change about the Miami Heat for next year? Yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. And he looked at the report. He goes, well, hold up. We can't change too much, right? Because we didn't make it all the way to the finals. We didn't make it within 2 games of winning a NBA championship. So you can't change too much. And that's what I want to implore for you guys today. To make sure we discuss today is when you're listening to all these gurus out there telling you, oh, you're going to change your weight, change your diet, change your finances, all that kind of stuff. Really be cognizant of the things that you don't want to change. Be cognizant of the things that you've been able to do over the past 365 days that have worked, that have put you in a better spot. And if you lean into those things, then the things that you do need to change will come from a very honest place, and it wouldn't just be a bunch of hypothetical, wishful thinking kind of bullshit, because you're staying grounded in the things that make you better and the things that make you great. That's what you have to be focusing on. So for me personally, again, I will do a deeper dive on this concept tomorrow as we get into the Top 5 Tuesday. But just so we know, just kind of a general sense, what will not change is these videos and my energy. And more importantly, what will not change when it comes to me is the consistency that you've been seeing for the past couple of years in terms of what it is I do, how I do it, how I create opportunities for myself. The consistency will not change. Hear me. The consistency will not change. And that's how I would answer that question. And again, I encourage you all. I encourage everyone out there listening, man. Look, no, I get it. A lot of people are going to be talking about all the changes you're going to be making. I hear that bullshit all week. They hear it a little bit next week. And by the time we get to mid-January, everything's going to go back to the same. If you focus and put your energy and put your thoughts and put your mindset right now on the things that you will not change, then the things that need to be changed will be kind of moved into a natural place, and it won't be forceful, and you can really, really start making some great things happen in your life. Again, you could follow my journey throughout this entire year. It's been one hell of a year. Good, bad, indifferent. It has been a motherfucking roller coaster that I would not change for the world. It's been incredible. All 365 days have been incredible. All right. And it's because I've stayed rooted in the things that I will not change, no matter who the fuck tells me, no matter what the fuck ultimatum a person wants to give me about what it is I should be doing, how I can. Fuck that. Listen, focus on the things that you will not change, and then watch your life transform for the better. That's what it's going to be all about. Again, I have a whole lot to say about this. And again, make sure you tune in, like, comment, subscribe, share this out. Main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I do and everything I'm about. It's makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com.
One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. You guys see it right there. Again, let me reintroduce myself to anybody that is new to this world, new to this channel. My name, Aswan Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current you heard me correctly, 6-time published author and educator. I created this whole brand, this whole concept, this whole way of life that's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and applying them to businesses and business owners, so they have a staff and or a group of employees that moves the same way, the same passion, the same hunger, the same determination that a championship high school or youth football team moves. You want that same motivation, you want that same eagerness in your organization. All for information on all that, it's on makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. Everything employee development, all the things that you would need are right here on that one website. Again, make sure you guys go pre-order a copy of How to Be a Wintrepreneur. The book is ready for pre-order, but the actual physical copy will not be ready until around March Madness time. You know, as we transition from football season to basketball season is really what it's all about. It's really about teaching these athletes, you know, again, sports best teacher in life, in my opinion, best teacher of life, and teaching these guys that are out there playing freely, having a great time, putting their bodies on the line, teaching them to hold themselves accountable and apply those things towards what they're going to be doing for the latter parts of their lives. So again, all of that is available on makeyourmove.com. All right. So you heard me correctly, folks. You heard me correctly on today's Move Swiftly Thought. Today, again, is one of those extra motivation days. And again, every time we get around this year, it's like a ripple effect. Again, we have Christmas, we have the New Year's, then we have my birthday the week after. And even this year, the week after my birthday, I go to Phoenix for a self and professional development conference that I'm super, super pumped about. So it's going to be quadruple the motivation over here in the Move Swiftly world. So be sure you're hitting that like button, subscribing, sharing this out, because just like we're going to be discussing today, this will not change. What it is I do on this camera, the way I've been able to develop as a speaker, the way we've been able to go on all sorts of journeys, wherever I am, whatever part of Florida I happen to be in that during that Monday or Tuesday, you're going to see me on camera doing what I have to do. And again, when it comes to developing systems and developing a brand, you have to depend on systems. Your systems have to eventually work harder than you. And that way you can avoid this sugar rush that you're getting ready to get for this whole week about everyone telling you, yeah, man, 2026, it's going to be your year. It's going to be your year. You're going to lose all this weight, dog. We're going to make our fun. We're going to get our family straight. We ain't going to be doing this no more. All this bullshit that you hear, it ends. Again, I come from the fitness world. I have a fitness background, and there was a ton of people that would sign up to a gym right around this time of year, and then by the time you get to mid-January, early February, they are out of there. All right, they're out of there, and all those resolutions, quote unquote, are done and gone with. So what are we going to make sure we're staying consistent with this year, and how are we going to make sure we use those things so we can they're advantageous to us, so we're sitting here again 365 days from now having the thing that we want change and have putting ourselves in a better position than we were today. That should be the main goal. And again, saying all that, as you can see right there, it is the last Monday of the month, which means I have some things that I need to be held accountable for. I got to go back, look at the goals, look at what I put in place the last Monday of every single month. I lay my goals out in terms of how I did the previous month, and then I give myself a letter grade, and then we discuss what the goals are, what the plans are for next month. So without all that, let's just get right into the article today. All right, so here we go. Make your move Monday, monthly goals, accountability, and what I'm not changing. That image actually. So I took that yesterday. I took that for yesterday's. It was after yesterday's run, and it just so happened that the sun was just perfect. The sun was just perfect. It was shining perfect. And whenever I'm lucky enough to get a nice sunrise like that, or catch the sunrise right there after a run, and I've never worn this shirt. I've never worn the Runs Club Champ sports shirt. And again, as I'm looking for sponsors and advertisers for the show, whenever I have an opportunity to, give them some promotion and, do a little shout out, that's what I do. So, that was the reason behind this. And then I was able to use that and take that and make that a thumbnail, which I am now actually doing with ChatGPT. Let me pull it up here real quick in case, right? And then it was, oh, no. Hold up 1 second. Let me do it. All right. Yes. So that's where this came from. So you see the same. And again, I'm not taking credit for the graphic design, all that. That's all ChatGPT. So not even act like that's something I know how to do. All right. So all that being said, let's jump into the article. We've reached the end of another year, and like clockwork, the noise is already here. Again, a lot of the things I was telling you. Everyone's talking about all the wonderful things they're about to change. I'm going to make more money. And this is every year. Every year you hear the same old bullshit rhetoric. I'm going to make more money. I'm finally going to lose the weight. This year I'm going to travel more. This year is different. This is all right here. Whether you're saying it to yourself or somebody who knows somebody who's always saying this every single year. They're going to finally lose the weight this year. They're going to finally make more money this year. They're going to travel more. They're going to do all these great, wonderful things. That's all the same old rhetoric every year, right? Most of those statements aren't plans. They're pipe dreams rooted in wishful thinking. Keyword in this, rooted in wishful thinking. Wishful thinking will not get you the results. Hear me. Wishful thinking, the stuff that you just heard, make more money, losing the weight or traveling more, that's wishful thinking. They're not rooted in any actual concrete plans. Those are just simple things that you do to pretend like you got it all together. You don't. Hear me. You don't. You need more of a concrete plan on how you're going to get these things. So again, by mid-February, the gym is empty. The budgets are forgotten. They just go back into the same old routines, and everything is just abandoned. All the great energy you had going into that, first week in January is all gone. So again, today's Make Your Move Monday Kickoff question is, what are you not changing? What are you not changing? Really take some time to think about that. What's not going to change? What did you do so well this year that you wouldn't want it changing? And how did you do it well? Break down on what you did well about it and give yourself a little bit of credit. Give yourself a little bit of credit on how you did those things so well, why you did those things so well. What was driving you to do those things so well, and then lean into that and then start making your goals and what it is you're going to be doing. All right. So let's read it. What worked so well this past year, it puts you in a better position today than you were 365 days ago, because those are the things that are worth protecting. All right. If you lean into what already works rather than chasing what sounds good in early January, you won't be one of those people again next year wondering why nothing changed, even though you wanted it to. Right. So I'll answer this question in full detail on Top 5 Tuesday. But for today, I'll give you a short version of my answer. So again, that's what I'm telling you. Be sure you comment, like, subscribe, share this out, because tomorrow I have a broken down list, a detailed list of all 5 things that I'm not changing. So you can really internalize it and say to yourself, okay, that's a good way for me to break down my last 365 days. What did I do well? Let's break down the good things that happened and then make my goals from that place. So I'll have that ready for you tomorrow. But I got to get to my monthly goals and break that down, because it's a pretty good month. I'll say it like that. So anyway, I'll answer this question in full detail on Top 5 Tuesday. But for today, I'll give you a short version of the answer. All right. My consistency is not changing. And a major part of that consistency is holding myself publicly accountable every single month. Right here. Boom. You like how I transition that, right? So again, I mean, just in case you didn't catch it, I want to make sure we're hearing me clearly. Just in case you didn't catch it. I answered the question while doing the thing that I'm telling you. All right. I answered the question. So the question is, what are you not changing this year in 2026? I answered it. My consistency is one of the things I'm not changing. All right. I'll give you the full details in terms of what we do tomorrow. But in terms of what we do today, here is my monthly goals, monthly accountability, how I did. So back in spring of this is one of the things that I did consistently well throughout the year. Back in the spring of 2025, back in the spring of this year, still this year, I started grading myself at the end of every month. All right. So if you're curious of what I did last month, so I'll give you an example. This was last month. If you see it, November 24, 2005, make your move Monday kickoff question. What are you certified to do? And then that was the kickoff question for that Monday. But then, yes, we got into my report card, my report card. Then you go there, you see the month before, October 27th. Boom. Here was my report card then. And then you go there. Again, I'm going full monthly goal. You see September 29th. What were my goals, right? You go all the way back. I'm going all the way back for a reason. Again, stay with me just so you know. Last month's article, September. Monthly goals. August 25th. You see it over and over again. The consistency is real. Let's see. Where is it? Last month, right? It's right here. July 28th. Yep. Live there. And then this article, boom. June, this was another one. Prompt to product. Yep, I remember these, man. Let's see. I gave myself a D that month. Ooh, man, last month's article. Yeah. And then all the way back to May. Just the accountability article, problem solver. Yep. Goals recap, all that stuff. All of that stuff. Here are my April goals. Makes you exceptional. Yeah. End of the day. Right. So again, I'm able to do this. I'm able to do this because you made the decision, right? You made the decision. So again, let's jump into how we did, right? And I'm bringing all this up. I'm bringing all this up because I want to set the example and set the tone for how you actually create results. This was something that I didn't think of doing it on my own, but because I paid for coaching and I was advised by someone who's doing the same type of work and doing it at a different level than me, then I'm trying to get to that level. He was adamant about, hey, look, your monthly goals need to be somewhere right now where you can write down and get to right now and be applying those monthly goals every single month. And you can't break it down. You can't get to this time of year and all of a sudden be so motivated to do this and so motivated to do that. You're not going to be fit for it. You're not ready for it because you're not practicing the skill of setting goals every single month and starting to achieve those goals, right? Achievable things every single month. All right. So here we go. Let's jump into it. So monthly accountability, how I did. Started publishing my monthly goals back in spring. Yeah. So you guys already heard that part. So this month I'm giving myself an A-. So let's just go back to the last month's real quick. So last month's goals, what were they? Number one, get the XCL license. Actually, you know what? I could just read it from there. So the first one was to get the X. This is basically the financial advisory license that I currently have. So I passed that one. So that one got done. The reason I gave myself an A- is because that actually got done. I passed. And if you can recall, I actually put that as an article as well. I did a whole video on that. day the next morning because I failed the first one. I remember writing it, and it was December 3rd when I took it the first time, and I failed it. And I was like, oh, I was hurting because I know me when it comes to multiple choice exams and all that kind of stuff. That's not me. It's not me. I was ready to throw in the towel, and I was given some extra motivation to, hey, man, keep trying, keep going. And I was able to pass it the second time. And man, the words passed came out of that lady's mouth, the exam, like the exam proctor's mouth, and I hugged her. I hugged her twice. And she thought it was some psycho crazy dude. So anyway, when the word passed, you passed, it came out of her mouth. I hugged her without hesitation. So becoming licensed wasn't just about credentials. It was about expanding my ability to serve people the right way. Again, as you guys are, again, if you're a regular around here, you know this, but if you're new around here, the main thing we do is all employee development, providing a service for business owners that is going to make it so they have that staff and they have that group of employees that are sticking around, and their retention rates, the employee retention rates are consistently improving. Now that I have more of a financial license and can teach them certain things and ways to protect their staff members and ways to invest their money and certain policies, all that kind of stuff, man, it is a different level. This is what I'm telling you. The good things is that I was moving in the direction of employee development, and I was able to root those good things into something that's a license, a professional license that's actually going to cater to the things that were good, that I was not changing, right? That's the point. And now you guys are starting to see the point. What are you not going to change? Again, we'll do a deep dive on this tomorrow, but you got to be picking up the little hint as I'm telling you. You can't just go around saying every single year, this time of year, I'm just going to change this and be great at this, be great at no. What are you not going to change so you can actually make a change and make a change for the better? All right. Pick up what I'm putting out. It can be a little complex for some folks who are not versed in this, but if you really, really pay attention to what I'm telling you, you will eventually pick it up. All right. So let's jump back into it. So that's done. So again, number one, that was the first thing to get done. Number two, relaunch the book pre-order campaign. All right, so this one is why I did not give myself an A+. I gave myself an A- this month because this was not done well. And this is why you hear me now every day when I do my intro, I'm making sure I'm at least putting it out there where you can get a pre-order copy of the new book, because I did not do a good job at all of making sure that this book was promoted. And that's something I've been planning on doing since the summer. So became a licensed financial educator this month and earned certifications that make me more valuable to the clients I serve. Yes, but the shift made promoting book number 6 more challenging than expected. Progress was made. Execution can be sharper. That's just the honest truth. I definitely could have did a better job. Can do a better job in promoting book number 6. And it's such a sweet cover. And it's one of the more pain. Like, I spent less time on this book than I did the other 5 months because I know that the articles that I write come out every single day, and the people who are following me on Medium, they're able to get an understanding of my writing style and what I'm all about. And the best way to really promote a book, to sell a book, is if you have a good following and you're able to attach what the book is about to a bigger concept. Like if you're able to go to a school and sell the bulk orders every single year, every single time there's a new crop of students coming in, like one of my best friends, shout out to my boy Todd. He wrote a book titled Thrive After Sports, and me and him, we played football at Stony Brook together. And back when he was with I'm not gonna say the name of the publishing company, but back when he was with that publishing company, he would always tell the story about how eventually he was able to promote the book to where it became a part of the required reading for one of the programs at Stony Brook. And it's important when you're talking about the collegiate level, because every single year there's going to be a new crop of students that come in, and if you've been to college, you're required to buy a certain amount of books. So if the professor gets in there and they say, hey, you have to buy this book to be in this class, and your book is one of those books that they're requiring for the reading material, then you've won. And whether the book, again, and selling your book is a lifetime job. It's evergreen material. Anybody out there that has a book, understand that you're going to be selling it for the rest of your life. You can't say, oh, I'm going to sell it for a few months, and if it doesn't sell, then I'm just going to stop. So that's not a good plan to be honest with. Now, if you can make some sales, then that plan, but you have to make sure you have the understanding that you're going to be selling it for the rest of your life. All right. And you can't depend too heavily on somebody else to sell your book, because you're not just selling the book, you're selling information, and you're also providing a life-changing thing for somebody. All right. Again, you guys go back to another article I wrote speaking of that. Another first book I ever read voluntarily, right here, When Pride Still Matters. I might have got it for 75 cents, but it's still the most valuable book that I've ever, I'd not say the most, but definitely in the top 5 of one of the most valuable books I've ever read, because it was the first one I did read voluntarily, and that's important as well. All right. So all that being said, I did need to do a better job in making sure did not do as good of a job as I'd like in terms of promoting it and making sure it's getting out there to the public and all that kind of stuff. So number 2, relaunched the book order partial. That's why I'm saying partial. Didn't do the best job when it comes to that, right? And finally, reestablish this friendship. Okay. So again, because this is public, because if you go back to last week, let me see how I wrote it last week, because when you're talking about women, you got to be very careful with how you use your words. All right. So last month, this is the way I said it. Reestablish, one of the goals last month was to reestablish this friendship. And I put it in the article. It's no details. I don't have her permission to share the story, but I'll say this. There's history there. There's respect there. And it's become painfully obvious how stubborn and stupid we both were for letting so much time pass. So some things deserve another chance, even if it's only as friends. Okay. So that's the way I said it. That's the way I said it last month. Let's go to this month and see how the past 30 days fared in that. Yes, we did reestablish the friendship. So she'll remain, her name for this, again, for the sake of this forum that we're in here, her name is Pocahontas. So she'll remain Pocahontas on here for now until you get, permission to share the actual name. But what matters in this is we reestablished a real friendship. And when it comes to, let me read it first and then I'll elaborate. So we reestablished a real friendship that both of us needed. The conversations that we've been having have been refreshing, grounded, and future focused. Some things are just better built slowly, right? So when it came to this XL license, hear me when I tell you. Now I'll tell the story and then I'll move to next month's goals. But I failed the first time I tried this. I failed. It was Pocahontas who I called on the phone on the way back from me failing, that I was ready to just throw in the towel and say, look, I'm done. I'm not taking a multiple choice exam. I would love to support this in some other ways. And she got on the phone and said, your ass is not done. Your ass is going back and taking that test again, and you're going to go pass. That's what I mean when I say real, holding accountable, having folks around you that's holding you accountable, making you better, and making it so you're constantly getting better. So again, a week later, I go and I pass that test, and I'm now able to come on here and speak to you from the experience of someone that actually failed at something and then went out and accomplished it the right way. So you see how the goals, see how important it is to make sure that these goals are written down and established within yourself first, and then people can help you out based on what they do. All right. That's why it's so damn important that you don't depend solely on other people to pick you up or let you down, whatever it is. You got to stay so grounded within what you got up inside of you that by the time you run into other people, by the time you run into whatever challenges are going to happen in your life, all people have to do is say, hey, look, man, that isn't what, because it's funny that I'm thinking about now. I'm using this as an example because what she said to me on the phone is like, no, that wasn't the energy last night when you were all, yeah, I'm gonna pass this. She held my butt accountable, and I love that. That's what I need. That's the kind of stuff I need. That's the kind of energy I need. It's kind of people I need in my life as I move forward in terms of what it is I'm planning on doing. So that's what I mean. All right. So, and as you can see, all of this stuff is written down. If it wasn't written down, then it just becomes something that eventually gets taken for granted and becomes forgotten. You don't want that. This is the important part of writing stuff down. Again, I'm not asking you to share this publicly like I do, even though it would be a great help. But as long as you have maybe 3 or 4 people that you can go to and say, hey, this is what I said I'm going to do, find accountability partners, all of those things are going to be helpful towards you as you are navigating this crazy roller coaster, crazy thing that we call life. All right. So that's how I did. A- for the month. Let's get into next month now. All right. January 2026, baby. It's here. It's here. It's here. It's officially here. It's officially here. All right. January 2026 goals. These are not resolutions. They're targets. Understand me. Understand something. They're not resolutions. They are targets. It's like take a slingshot and you pull it back, you pull it back, you pull it back, you pull it back, you pull it back. You're looking at your target. You're making sure the target's good. And it's only till you can really nail it, bam, and you let go. That's what a target is. That's the difference between a resolution and a target. Target is bam. A resolution is just throwing bullshit out there so you have an excuse to drink. Understand, listen, back when I was in college and I wasn't really into self-development as I am now, that's all New Year's was. New Year's was just another reason to get fucked up, get drunk, and be stupid. That's it. There was no real plan. It was just another excuse to party. That was all it was. But then again, I wised up, I got older, and I figured out, hey man, this is an opportunity. You don't need to be using, I don't even drink anymore. Again, haven't had a drink of alcohol in well over a year now. And it's important that you really get to these places because there's a future, man. And I can talk about it for, hours upon hours and hours. I try to keep these around the 30-minute mark, but I'm telling you, take advantage of your youth. There's so much going on, so much there for you if you can take advantage of your youth. Take advantage of the fact that you're young enough to see a new year and don't waste it by just drinking, like Drake said, just drinking it away, right? So let me get into the article before I start preaching. January 2026 goals, all right? These aren't resolutions, they're targets. First one off jump is walk away with real knowledge from these 2 events. All right, so January is about sharpening my tools. Life Surge in Orlando. I'm going to Life Surge in Orlando on January 9th. It's a day after my birthday is January 8th. And it falls on a Thursday this year. So I'll be in Orlando the Thursday throughout the whole day. And then January 9th, the Friday, there's going to be a Life Surge in Orlando. And it's the birthday gift that I'm giving to myself. Let me show you guys real quick who exactly is going to be there. This is a big deal. So this is what I'll be going to. Pastor Craig Rochelle. Again, I pay my tithes at Life Church. Ed Milet, the self and professional development group I'm part of, he started there. Sage Steele, ESPN, Anchor, former college sports. That's the world I'm into. John C. Maxwell. All of this is going to be the one-day life-changing event. One of the goals this year was to get back to going to church and be paying my tithes, and that's another thing that I'm really proud of started to do. So I'll be in there all Friday. This would be the world, and I'm looking at it and saying to myself, okay, how do I get on one of those stages? How does as one build a brand, build up himself, and build up the network of people that I can figure out how I'm going to be on those stages? Because it's not just Orlando, but they have events, Kansas City, a bunch of different places. So that's a goal. That's a goal. That right there is a goal, to walk away from that with real tools. And then right after, the next week, after January 9th, so the next week is when I go to Phoenix with the Wealth Builders. And there's another, and this is with, again, Pocahontas, the business that she introduced me to. She was the one that got me involved with this. And, I got my ticket for Phoenix right after that. So those are 2 events I'll be going to right from jump that I need to make sure I'm walking out of with measurable steps on how to become one of those speakers that get on stage. So a year ago, again, if you can recall, I could pull up the articles if you want to. I will do it right now. But a year ago, I spent all sorts of money chasing the experiences. Last year, this time, here's what I did. Last year, I went from Orlando to go watch the Pop-Tart Bowl. And then from there, I drove from Orlando to Tampa, and then to watch the RelaxQuest Bowl with my Michigan Wolverines. And then for my birthday last year, I remember I went to, it was Panama City. Then went from Panama City to Atlanta, then came back to Panama City, then drove to Tallahassee, then drove to Gainesville, basically just again traveling all over Florida, just chasing experiences. And now I wouldn't say it's a waste of money, but now that I know where the money can be going because of the wealth builders, now again, just again, year older, year wiser, and doing what I have to do. So being a sport and fitness coach is great. It's a great role, and that's the role that I've been given this year. But providing for a future family requires expanding my reach as a public speaker and educator. So this position that I was given this year as a sport and fitness coach at the school I teach at is great, but it's only going to be great if I can figure out a way to expand it to lean into more of the things that I was doing before as a public speaker and educator. That's the way it is. So that's number one. Again, walk away with real knowledge, look at this stuff, and then go into the events with a plan, a focus, and a goal. All right. So that's number one. Number two, secure one new client. All right. So with the new license, so goal number one is clear, walk away with a real knowledge. So goal number two is to secure one new client. So with my new license, I can now serve business owners at a deeper level, as I've mentioned throughout this entire show today. With combining the financial education and employee development, one new client this month is a non-negotiable. I got to get one new person. One new client is a goal, right? So that's goal number two. And then goal number three, then secure another one. That's it. Once you start understanding, listen, it's like making a sale. There's a difference between, real quick lesson here. There's a difference between a customer and a client. All right. Customer is like me. I'm doing this at a Publix, by the way. So I get a Celsius and I pay for the Celsius, and I'm a customer of the person. A client is like whatever the Celsius company that is getting their cans in the Publix. You need more clients, not just customers. People just buy your book once and never hear from you again. You don't want that. You want people that are actually, staying in tune with you when you're developing and you guys are working together. That's a client. So goal number one and goal number two, very, very pretty much synonymous, right? Secure the first client and then get another one, period. All right. So the license changed the game. Before I was just a guy selling a book. Before this license, before this month, I was just a guy selling a book or selling his books, right? Selling his intellectual property, which there's a lot of people on the internet doing that. But now I'm someone who can walk owners through their finances, help them climb out of a hole, and deliver workshops to keep them from falling back in. You see how all that came together? You can walk those same business owners that I was looking to serve. I can walk them through their finances and where the issues are, where the holes are. I can help them climb out of that hole based on the resources I'm able to provide. And then most importantly, I can deliver the workshops particularly in a way that will keep them from ever going back into that hole. You see that system? You see how that works? You see how that works? And that's work, man. That takes work. That takes knowledge. That takes a mentality. It takes a mentality to go after that. All right. So, and then that combination hits different. So final word, again, change. This is an important one, and I'll break all this down tomorrow. So again, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Change is overrated. Consistency is underrated. Before you decide what you're changing this year, decide what deserves to stay the same. Tomorrow on Top 5 Tuesday, I'll break down the 5 things I'm not changing in 2026 and why protecting those is the real growth strategies. Action step, again, makeyourmove.com, main website to check out to dive deeper into all this work and make sure you're taking advantage and getting the most out of this. All right. So again, see you guys again tomorrow on Top 5 Tuesday. Main website right there. It's makeyourmove.com, MakeYaMove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one, Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.